trying it in 4K.
Oh, nice.
You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
Jared, you want to bring us in?
Sure, bud. Hey, guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Mark Lesko Podcast. I am your co-host, Jared Miller. Alongside with me is Mark Lesko, and this is Steelers Central. So what we got tonight is pretty much what's going to happen on Monday. This is one of the most important part of the off seasons. We're going to be talking about what's going on with the trades, who's going to be dealt, what's going to be going on with deals. Mostly, it's just really about who we think will get their deal and what we need. I mean, obviously, the things that we need to acquire it's so crucial. I mean, you have $60 million in cap space plus whatever it is. I don't know the real number, but I know it's at least $60 million. You're looking at getting everything you need. I mean, if there's ever a time for the Steelers to address things, it is now. Like, these issues that they have had for the past how many years now, 7 or 8, I mean, without a playoff, again, the excuses have got to stop. The reasons for why things go down, it's got to be over. I want this to finally be a place where you get guys you need, they come in, they do their job, they actually play like competitive, like the team like they used to. Like, again, you're talking about almost a decade of them not being able to produce any type of success in that regard. Like, you have good winning teams, and yeah, you always want to have something for Mike Tomlin and his winning record. But now we're coming to a point where that is no longer the attractive thing that is what it was. I mean, the taste is no longer in the recipe. Like, I don't know, like, winning is the missing part of that formula. Like, it's just no longer, the other stuff is now just a bitter taste in my mouth now. It's like I'm no longer acquiring the winning formula or the winning record thing anymore. That needs to be thrown out. I feel like we are now at a point where everything needs to get better because we've had so many inconsistent quarterbacks. We've had so many, up in the air coordinating. It's just like play calling. There's all these different things that have made this team not really function correctly. So, I mean, dude, what do you think outside of like acquiring everyone in the offseason, like, and waiting for the draft a couple months? My personal opinion is they should go offense. Like, I think they need to be trading and doing what they're doing on Monday and Tuesday this week. It needs to be offensively driven. And maybe maybe the defensive side can go for the draft. Like, once you address all these things coming Monday or Tuesday, if you get all the guys you want in the offseason, like who's out there in the open field, like the markets, and like there's DK Metcalf, there's Cooper Kupp, name any other cornerback, anybody who's a good offensive line, like whatever direction you go with these next couple of days coming up, that's the other way you go in the draft. So if you're going to get offense, go defense in the draft. But what is your opinion on that?
Yeah. So, what the heck am I doing? So I didn't know free agency was coming up so quickly. So I like that, obviously.
Yep.
That is good. I'm glad that that's a thing, that's going to be happening soon. So what I think we need to do is, and we've talked about it before,
Mhm.
they need to go offense in the draft,
Okay.
either Genti or Ibuka. And then they need to get at least one receiver in free agency. It sounds like so. All right. So this is Steelers Depot.
Mhm.
Quarterback. They said ideally the saga gets wrapped up before Monday's tampering period. Wide receiver.
Mhm.
Cornerback. Veteran offensive lineman. I think we're good on the offensive line.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think they'll get a corner in the draft,
Okay.
or they could get another one in free agency. We'll see. I'm not sure who. But they're going to get at least one receiver or two in free agency. They should get two.
They should.
And it looks like we're keeping Justin Fields. So, realistically, it looks like that's who we're keeping.
Yep.
And if they can get weapons, then, if they can get like a DK Metcalf or Cooper Kupp in free agency, one or both, and then get a receiver in the draft, which they should, get another receiver.
They should.
If you can get Justin Fields 3 receivers that can all play well, cap space is plentiful. And then maybe get Najee back and Jalen Warren, maybe get another running back in the draft and get Ollie Gordon. That's plenty of receivers for him. He has Freiermuth. He has Darnell Washington.
Yep.
The massive man that he is.
The massive
he's
man.
He's good. Yeah, and our offensive line, we have depth. We're good there. Between it's Darnell Washington and Darnell Jacobs, right?
Darnell Jacobs? I don't know that name.
I'm sorry, the tackle from Georgia.
Oh, Broderick. Is that who you're thinking?
Yeah, what's his first
Broderick
name?
Jones is from Georgia. Broderick, yeah.
Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know where not Matthew Broderick. Broderick Jones.
Yes.
Broderick Jones. We got plenty of guys on the line. I think we're good there.
Well, I mean, Isaiah Salamalo, I mean, yeah. And again, Troy Fautano is coming back this season. Hopefully stays completely healthy. I think what they're really thinking about with offensive line is I think it's either right guard or left guard. Like James Daniels and Dan Moore's not coming back. They're just wondering if James Daniels can come back. Like, do they want him back? Like, that's the replacement that they might be looking at for that. And again, center, we're set. I mean, you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 guys that you're thinking for the offensive line, but they're crucial to get those right. I mean, they need to have the right tackle be whoever needs to, the right guy. They need left tackle be the right guy. And again, guard, right, left, and center. It's just they need to make sure they have that completely wrapped up, because once you get that line solid and complete, then obviously Najee or Jalen, or again, we can get Ashton Gentry. That would probably be the best thing for them, because it solidifies their run game completely. Like that would definitely show like they are ready to do something with that side of the ball. But again, you're wondering, where is the play calling coming from with Arthur Smith's? Like, that's the one thing I really would like to know, if that's going to be the big thing next season, because we were talking about how he was such a huge upgrade from, Matt Canada, and it just wasn't shown. The biggest issue that you saw last year with the offense was there was no in the middle of the field action. Like, there was almost nothing. It was always on the corners because, again, Russell Wilson, being the shorter guy that he is, he could not see over his own players, and he couldn't see the middle of the field. Good. You're talking 10 years ago, he could do something, get out of it, score him out, but he's not that young guy that's with the good legs anymore. So you're looking at Justin Fields, it's like, well, at least he can scramble and get out of there and do something with the ball. And that's just really what we need to see from this. Like, regardless of who is being throwing the ball or, the wide receiver, tight end, anything. It's just you got to open up the middle of the field. I would love Justin Fields to be able to have that kind of freedom. And once that happens, I mean, obviously they're going to have a better success because being a corner route and George Pickens catching things on the corner and outside of the pocket, that's great. But you need to know how to open up the middle of the field. Pat Freiermuth and Darnell have got to be frustrated as heck because it's like that's the whole purpose of the tight end. That's like if you can't get anything down the field, then those guys will be 10, 15 yards down, always ready to do something. And that was the case. The 20% of the time they did throw in the middle of the field, they had a guy open. They caught it. It was great coverage and great yardage. You just, got a first down. It was like you continued the drive. It just baffles me how they handle themselves with their guys. They should try to trust them more, but it's like they just are so afraid to make that a part of the game that it's like if it happens, then what? You just don't think that they can make anything else outside of that happen? That's why I feel like they need to solidify the run for sure. If you're so afraid to open up the middle of the field, then you got to start solidifying the run game.
Yeah, so looking at the depth chart, we're good on the line. Fatuanu, he's a first rounder. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to get rid of Russ. Justin Fields is going to be our starter. Go Ollie Gordon, running back, 2 receivers in free agency, and then get a Buka. So then you'll have George Pickens. You'll have even Devontae Adams. But George Pickens, Cup here, and then DK or Devontae. You're good on the line. You got Calvin Austin backing up. You got Amika backing up. Roman Wilson backing up. Mike Williams, too. He's a sleeper guy. And then on defense, they can go corner in the free agency and or the draft. So they can build a lot with the draft, man. I mean, we've seen it past few years. Almost every draft pick they get ends up playing. They always develop draft picks well. But I think we're a little weak in the secondary. We need more depth there. Cam Sutton, we're good. Joey Porter's good. Minka's good. We're pretty good there. But Dante Jackson from Carolina, so we're good there in the sense that we have good guys. But I do think it's going to be like all offense. It's going to be receiver and running back in the draft and like a corner and probably defensive line. We're a little weak there too. Cam Hayward, he's old, man. He got drafted in 2010.
Right. Didn't play like it last year, though. My goodness, he went crazy. For how old he is, he had probably one of the best years a 35, 36-year-old can have.
Yeah, and then you got, Marquise Pouncey, I think, was taken in 2009.
Yep.
So, they're almost the same age. Marquise Pouncey, he's been gone for a while. So, yeah, I think that's what they'll do in the draft. They're going to go receiver, running back, corner, defensive line, O-line probably. Linebacker, we're pretty good. We're pretty good there. TJ Watt.
Yeah,
Patrick
I heard
Queen,
that.
Landon Roberts.
Yeah, I heard Cole Holcomb had restructured his contract to clear up more cap space. They're clearly keeping him, which I think is a smart move. We missed him last year, and they say that he could be fully healthy by this coming training camp. So I definitely think they need to make sure that guys like Peyton Wilson and him are ready to go. Because, like you said, Cam Hayward is just, he's 2 years at most from retiring. I don't know if I don't know. He is redefining his age. You can't tell me what you saw last year was that is impressive. Dude that old doing what he did, that was fantastic. So if he's still got 2 more games. Right. I'm just saying 2 more years of that would be great to see him have a shot. But again, defensively, this team has about 3-4 more years of the window they have. Because the guys like TJ, Minka, and company, again, they're on the verge of getting their retiring age. We bring it up all the time. It's just we want these guys to have success, but it's they never figure out the offense. Ben was the biggest Band-Aid that offense could ever have gotten in terms of the Mike Tomlin defensively driven team and focus. It's just like when you now have to address all those things, it's like you're seeing how it works. I mean, I swear, I think the Steelers' offensive side of the ball, I think everyone in that office, like them, they're just like shaking the magic 8 ball and saying, should we get this guy? Not likely. So, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. The way they make decisions on the offensive side of the ball, it's like they just close their eyes and throw the dart at the board and hopefully it sticks. But it's just, it hasn't worked yet. So whatever happens this year between trades and offseason stuff and draft, just make the best offensive choices you possibly can. Make it be the right thing that's going to put them in the best position. Because in this day and age, it is all about scoring. Like, that's how this NFL works now. If you're going to be competitive and try to do something, you got to at least put up, 3-4 touchdowns. I mean, you got to be able to score at least 24, 27 points a game. So if you can do that on the offense, which, again, that's still not a lot, but for the defense and how this team wants to run, if you can give them that, I think they'll be absolutely fine. But still, you got to find the guys to make the right decisions.
Yeah. These guys are just talking. So overall, man, like, just looking at our depth chart,
Yeah.
Weak at receiver, weak at running back, little weak at corner, little weak at defensive line. So like I said, man, like, they're definitely going to get a receiver or two in free agency. There's no doubt in my mind about that. They're going to get a splash higher there. And then again, go Ibuka in the draft or Genti. It's one of those two guys that they get. If not that, then maybe a linebacker.
Yep.
But I just see them going. I don't see them going corner in the first round. But this guy didn't play last year at all, so he's coming in. He's a freak. Broderick Jones is a freak. James Daniels from Chicago. Who'd you say isn't coming back for the line, offensive line?
Dan Moore.
Yeah, Dan Moore is another guy that we had. He was from, I forget where he was from. But, James Daniels, big pickup from Chicago. But Russell Wilson is not staying in Pittsburgh. There's no doubt about that. Justin Fields, just saw today, they're not close to a deal, but I think he's going to be our quarterback. So Justin Fields is our quarterback, and they get just Cooper Kupp and DK, because I think they can get both, man. I don't think Cooper Kupp, I don't know if they're going to drop him a bag or not. DK would definitely want a bag. They should get Devontae Adams, because he doesn't need much money, I don't think. So if you get like one guy that you drop a truckload of money off to, it's either going to be probably Cooper Kupp or DK, and then Devontae, we get him for a decent price. And then you just go, like I said, receiver, and then running back in the first round in the draft. Ollie Gordon, like, why not? I think they will get him. Now, he's had some character stuff with getting a DUI, for example. But good runner. He was at one point going to be like a projected first round pick, but I think that's what they do, man. I think they go all offense in like the first 2 rounds. It's pretty much what they have to do, because our defense, we gave up so little points in pretty much every game. Like, for example, the Colts, they gave up a bunch of points. That was weird. And then the Browns, the offense needs to score more points. So if Justin Fields can get more weapons, which he does have weapons, man. George Pickens, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, like, he's got some guys there, Mike Williams, but he needs more. They need more there.
Yeah.
So, and I've been rewatching games, like Steelers games, and dude, we did good, man. We started good with 2 different quarterbacks. So if we can get a Justin Fields in there who did well but then was benched with more weapons, like, I think we're going to be in good shape. I mean, we were Super Bowl contenders at some point last year. We just collapsed at the end because Russell Wilson takes sacks like he, breathes oxygen. That's just what he has to do that for some reason. So a mobile Justin Fields who can also run, get him some weapons at receiver, and then pair him and, Najee, man, like Alabama guy, first rounder, like just hasn't really worked out. But I think if you pair these two with some more receivers, I think we'll be okay. So,
yeah, I think in a perfect world, what you would want is you got, again, 60 plus million in cap space. I think, and it sounds crazy to say, but if you took like all that money on Justin Fields, DK, and Cooper, I mean, I'm just saying all three of them, they get all the cap space, all three of them. I honestly wouldn't be completely opposed to that because if you're suggesting, if you take those three guys, look at what you have for wide receiver. I mean, your stars are going to be Cooper Kupp, Pickens, and Metcalf. I mean, the fact that Metcalf might be wide receiver 3 is insane. Like, the dude's not even 30 yet. He's getting close, but he's not even 30 yet. That would be, I think, ideal for that wide receiving room. That would kind of like what we had last year when we was like, oh, we have no quarterbacks in the room. We had Justin Fields and then Russell Wilson come in on these ridiculous deals. Now again, you are going to have to back the truck up this time. Like you are so sneaky about being cheap with those deals, but not this time. Oh, no. We need to actually spend money on those guys. And then you talk about the draft. If you were to get Ashton Gentry, a running back, and then pair him with Jalen Warren and have Justin Fields as your quarterback, dude, the play calling you could come up with for those guys running all over the field and then somehow solidify Fields as enough as a thrower where it's like you get 220 yards, 225 yards a game, and all of it goes to the wide receivers, a little bit to the tight end. It's like, I think this team would go from like you're a stepping stone to a boulder that you can't even move. Like, I'm serious. This team has been always defensively ready for the season. And then if you flip it around and get everybody ready for the season, dude, all of a sudden the Steelers are like an AFC powerhouse once again. I mean, I say it with as much heart and passion as I can because we haven't seen it in such a long time. It's been since the Killer Bees, since we've had a threat on offense. And it's like, wouldn't it be great to get back to that again? Wouldn't it be wonderful if those guys would just find a way to look offensively threatening again? I mean, I know it's crazy, but it could happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they could really we could look like a totally different team at the end of next week. So it looks like Monday is the tampering period, and then Wednesday officially is free agency.
Yep.
But we could also get Aaron Rodgers, which I think they should keep Justin Fields if they do that.
Yes.
Matt Stafford's not coming here.
Nope.
Daniel Jones is on the table. If that happens, then I'm never talking about the Steelers again.
Yep, I was like, I don't know if I can even say that with a straight face.
I'd rather have Najee playing quarterback.
You'd rather have Kenny Pickett back.
Seriously. But, yeah, man. So, there's some stuff that could happen there. All I've heard is that Justin Fields and the Steelers are not close to a deal. But a lot could happen this week. So, yeah, free agency officially starts, looks like Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see how it plays out. But, that's our thoughts on it. But,
yep.
But yeah, if you have 2 receivers in free agency, Ibuka, and then a running back at some point with Arthur Smith and Justin Fields, yeah, man, there could be a lot of interesting stuff there. I mean, Arthur Smith had, what was his name? At quarterback, the Samoan guy.
Oh, Marcus Mariota?
Yeah, Marcus Mariota. I think he's Samoan.
Yeah.
The dude from Tua, Tagovailoa. He was explaining the other day that he's Samoan. Some guy asked him if he was Hawaiian or something like that. He said, "No, I'm Samoan." So there, he Marcus Mariota, fairly mobile guy. Justin Fields is more mobile, but Arthur Smith has had a quarterback like that before. You know what I mean? So
right.
The problem with Russell Wilson, dude, is like I said, like if he had just a bit of pressure, he was taking a sack. I think he's pretty conservative in the way he played. And that's not good because like for just the wild card round, he took sacks. And dude, you got to move around, man. You got to move around. You got to get the ball off quicker. Justin Fields can move. He gets the ball off quick. He's got a cannon of an arm. He's not very accurate. Now he's gotten better with that for sure. Like the Atlanta game, he looked really good. But it's just one of those things where if you have a mobile quarterback who can get the ball off quick and move, got a cannon, that's a good option. And Justin Fields is not young anymore. He's by definition a veteran at this point, but he's not young. So you'd really have to step, like if he had like a George Pickens and a DK Metcalf and like a Cooper Kupp, pretty level-headed guy. George Pickens is not. Even DK's a little he's not the most level-headed all the time either. Devontae Adams would be a good fit because he's a level-headed guy. But, we'll see how that plays out, man. But Justin Fields is really going to have to step up because I do think he's going to be our quarterback. But he's really going to have to step up and take the reins and be that leader, especially when you have guys like George Pickens or a DK at receiver. But if he had like a Devontae and a Cooper Kupp, two guys that are they're good teammates, that could work. So and none of our players are getting arrested like the Chiefs, so that's good.
Oh my gosh, I heard about that. Xander Worthy, I mean, really? That's the thing about this dude. Like, you're talking about a team that has always been the model of professionalism and, they've always had a good stature about them, but like we really haven't had that for quite some time. I'm not saying all the guys have their, off-field issues, but it just seems like their identity is not that anymore. Like they don't focus on those things. Like all they focus on in the NFL is production and numbers. And offensively, this team has given you diddly squat. I mean, they just don't really give you anything to like go, oh, wow, look at that. I mean, that one game they had against Cincinnati where Russell Wilson threw for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, it's like, where is that? Can we please see that 5 or 6 times a season? Can I just see that 5 or 6? I'm not even asking for a whole season. 5 or 6 games where you just go completely offensively crazy. It would be so nice to watch that happen because you maybe have a shot at going somewhere outside of a playoff, like a performance or appearance. Like, please just win a playoff game. I understand that sounds too advanced for you. I mean, it's not quantum physics or anything, but just figure it out and please just give us all players that are going to be the best version. Like, just I need guys who are not going to be leaders per se, but that's the thing. Like, just go in there, give us professionalism, just give us like a reason to think that you know what you're doing. Like, I just feel like that's always a question with George. I always think that's a question with Najee. I think that's a question, like, there's just not a consistent, like, what you're going to get from someone. Like, some game they're going to be great, some game they're going to not show up. Like, it just seems like there's too much inconsistency. And that, again, does that rely on coaching to be stable? Yes, I think that's what it always comes down to. Like, you're always talking about these guys need to come in and do their jobs, and it's just like, well, you do have a job yourself as a coach. I mean, you just can't say you're a coach and not that be it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've always like questioned, like, what is their mindset with them guys? Like, get them out there, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to, and in return, it's like they will probably give you what you're supposed to have. So that's what we've always talked about. Steelers, just give us players that will play the game and as best as they possibly can, and then everything else will be working itself out.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I was good to go. I mean, you said you wanted to maybe bring up the Oscars because they were just recent. Like that.
Yeah, you're a theater guy, so yeah. So Oscars happened.
Yep.
And I don't watch it. I haven't watched it for a long time. It's way too woke
I'm
for
only
me.
concerning myself with 11 categories every year. I only concern myself with 11. And it's costumes, makeup and hair, a score, and then the big 8, which is all acting, the supporting actor and supporting actress and lead actress, lead actor, director, all the screenwriting and picture. Like, that's the only ones I concern. And I think out of the 11 this year, I think I was 9 for my 11.
Yeah, people actually bet on it. They have, like, people, they'll get sheets and they'll write down who's going to win. They bet on it. They have parties. I mean, the Oscars is a big deal, obviously.
Yeah.
Adrian Brody won Best Actor. Last time he won, because I do know quite a bit about the Oscars and acting and movies, and I do know quite a bit about it.
Yeah.
Adrian Brody won The Pianist in 2002.
Yep.
That was for that was about the Holocaust, I believe.
Yep.
Insane movie. And then the other one was Schindler's List, about the Holocaust. Just very, yeah, man, like hard.
If you're a happy person, I guess that's what you watch to go the other way, because it's like that. We'll do it.
Ralph Fiennes, was he the one that was in The Road?
Ray Fiennes. I know. Listen, it says Ralph Fiennes, but it's Ray Fiennes. It's a weird, dang name to pronounce, but that is how you say his name.
Was he the guy that was in The Road, the movie The Road?
I don't know this name. I don't know that picture, so I don't know if that was that name. I know he's Voldemort. I know he's from Schindler's List. I know he has a big cachet of big movies, so.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
It was, so The Road. Oh, Viggo Mortensen?
Yes. Lord of the Rings.
I saw him recently in something, Viggo Mortensen. He was up for an Oscar.
Oh, is it that Green Book movie? Where he plays the chauffeur to the pianist in down south. It was like segregated, like 60s movie. Like, that was his big movie that he did a couple years ago. I think that was 2018.
I was watching an Oscars. It must have been an old one, but Viggo Mortensen, I could have sworn was. Maybe it's man, who did I think? I thought Ray Fiennes was Viggo Mortensen. He looks like him, I think.
Okay.
Right? Is that? Am I right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but yeah, I totally know the two different.
Yeah, I must have thought Ray Fiennes was Viggo Mortensen. I could have sworn recently there was a guy that looked like him. Because I watched The Road again recently. Very sad movie. A couple movies I've watched that I went to the theater for. I think I went to see The Road. I went to see I just thought of it. The Crazies. That was another one I went to see. Saw The Hangover in theaters like 5 times.
Okay.
But yeah, Adrian Brody wins The Brutalist. I didn't see that movie. But there's people like you that watch all the movies, Oscars movies.
Well, no, I saw 6 of the 10 this year. I saw Anora. I saw A Complete Unknown. I saw Conclave. I saw Emilia Perez. I saw The Substance, and I saw Wicked. Okay. And I will say this, Anora, won the Best Picture Oscar. Like, dude, again, that is a wild, wild movie. I mean, oh my goodness! Like, the first 45 minutes of that movie is just, it's a wild ride. It never stops after that. But then there comes a dramatic, like, plot line from the last act 2 of that movie, which is the last hour and 15. And it's very, very like, wow, it's crazy how it was at this point, and then it goes into this story. And it's interesting. Like, I definitely understood like why it got so much attention, because it is one of those movies that has a lot of great like acting. It had good moments. Like, I got it. Like, it's definitely a movie for those who appreciate like adrenaline rush, because it just, again, it has so much crazy like atmosphere. It's a good time. I very much appreciated it. The 2 things I got wrong this year at the Oscars was Best Original Screenplay, which ironically did go to Anora, but I thought The Substance was going to win that. And then I got the Best Actress wrong. I thought Demi Moore had it in the bag. She had the best narrative, 45 years in show business and never won an Oscar. I thought they were going to finally give it to her, and they called Mikey Madison's name for Anora. I could not believe it. Dude, she's 26 years old. She has plenty of time to win one, and they went that way. And I was just like, that's ironic. The movie The Substance with Demi Moore is about an aging woman who has to be replaced by a younger person. And he lost the Oscars because the person is younger. I was like, again, Mikey Madison's performance is absolutely incredible. I mean, there's probably maybe 2 or 3 other actresses who had a shot at playing that part right. But then I think of Demi Moore's performance, and it was like, how could they not have gone that way? It was a great narrative, and I mean, again, it's a good performance. It really, really was. It could have gone either way. I said to my one friend who I watched it with, if it doesn't go to me, I wanted it to be Mikey Madison. And that's where it went. And I was just like, man, it just seems like everyone was waiting for her name to be called, because, again, all those years and had that great career, and it could have been captivated by having her be up on stage to get her Oscar, and it just didn't go that way.
Was she in Ghost, Demi Moore?
Yes. That was like, yeah. She had so many things in the 80s, but Ghost was the movie that really kind of catapulted her into, like, she could be a big name A-lister. Yeah.
Yeah, she is fine.
Yeah, she got a few good men after that movie. Like, she did Ghost, and then she did A Few Good Men. She was on a really good trajectory.
Yeah, she's a pretty woman. So, Best Original Screenplay, you said? Where's that? It must not be on.
It should be down. I think it's in numerical or alphabetical. Yeah, alphabetical order. So, Screenplay S.
Oh, Screenplay. Okay.
Yep.
Which movie were you just talking about?
I thought it was going to go to The Substance because of its originality, but they went with Anora instead. Sean Baker, who was the writer for that movie, he was the director, he was the editor, and he was the screenwriter. He won all 3, and he won Best Picture. No one in the history of the Oscars has won 4 Oscars in one night. He broke a record that night. I was like, that's crazy to think that no one's ever done that before, ever.
Yeah. Okay. Actor in a leading role, Brutalist, Adrian Brody. Supporting role, Kieran Culkin, Real Pain, who I didn't even know he existed, man.
You didn't know
Macaulay
Fuller
Culkin.
from Home Alone?
Well, Macaulay.
You know the scene where they say, yeah, but I'm saying, Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi, and the kid smiles? That's his little cousin. Yeah, that's Kieran Culkin.
Oh, that's his cousin. Okay. They look a lot alike.
That's his brother. Yeah.
This is his brother, Kieran?
Yeah, Kieran Culkin. Yeah, it's Macaulay's brother.
All right. And then and then his cousin was in the Home Alone. Okay.
Yeah, then the movie, they're cousins. Yeah, the movie, but in the real life, they're brothers.
Okay. Actress in a leading role, Mikey Madison, Anora. Supporting role, Zoe something.
Saldana.
Okay. Wicked, that was you said it was a good movie.
Oh, dude, it was amazing.
for me, man, like it's always Hollywood's gone so woke. It's like watching the Oscars is just, I just can't do it.
Well, I mean, dude, the story I heard once about Honora, it was an independent film that had it took $5 or $7 million to make the movie, and then you find out that they spent like $18 million of their existing money on like advertising and putting it out, campaigning, and it's just like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of independent film, isn't that? Where it's like you're doing it on a small budget, and it's like, shouldn't they reap all the benefits? No, they have more money, so they could spend it to like put it out there over everything else. I personally liked the movie Conclave, like that movie about how the Vatican chooses a pope. I thought that was going to win, and I found out that it was in second place over Honora. Like it was between them and Honora that was going to win Best Picture. I was like, it was in second place. It's like, it was so close.
What was it second place
What's
on?
that?
What was the second place on?
Conclave.
For what category?
Best Picture.
Because I don't see
for Best Picture, bud.
Here. Where is that?
Yeah, the big prize.
Huh?
No, for Best Picture. Yeah, for the 10 movies for Best Picture, Conclave. Yeah, Best Picture, but I'm telling you, it got second place for Best Picture. Honora won, but
I don't see it on here. Film editing?
It should be Best Picture.
Maybe it's picture because I don't see Best Picture.
Yeah, like Best Picture. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bud.
Conclave.
Yeah, it was in second place.
Oh, it was. Okay. And then how many Oscars did The Brutalist get?
I think that just got the 3. I think it got cinematography. I think it got Best Score and then Best Actor.
Dune Part 2. Timothy Chalamet. I think he's dating a Kardashian, right?
Yeah. Kendall Jenner. Yep.
Was he second for Best Actor?
He was second place for A Complete Unknown. He was that close.
He plays Bob Dylan, right?
He played Bob Dylan. Listen, anytime you play a famous person, that almost catapults you into the first place. But I think because The Brutalist is 3.5 hours long, if I'm in a movie, if I'm an actor and I find out I'm doing a 3.5 hour movie, I better be at least nominated.
Yeah.
But he won.
Do they have like lists of what year? Lists by years? Oh yeah, they do. Wow.
They should.
Okay. All right,
they should.
No, I'm not signing up for your newsletter. All right. So Oppenheimer was 2024. Now, I've said this before. Best actor to me of all time is probably Denzel Washington, but my favorite is either Denzel or Leonardo.
Yep.
Samuel L. Jackson, he's up there too. Samuel L. Jackson's been in like a million movies, kind of like Bruce Willis, but just he's been in better stuff for me. Brendan Fraser, The Whale, that was in 23.
Yep.
22 was
the narrative.
Will Smith, King Richard.
Yeah. Again, another narrative where it's like he's been in so many movies for so long they finally gave him an Oscar.
Anthony Hopkins, the father. Anthony Hopkins, that's Silence of the Lambs, right? Anthony
Hopkins. Silence of the Lambs. He won an Oscar at the age of 82 or 3. Yeah, he won at a very old age.
Joaquin
that
Phoenix,
year
the
was
Joker,
so unique.
2020. What, 21?
No, but that year, 2021, yeah, that year was so unique because Chadwick Brunson, you know him from Black Panther.
I've never seen that. Chadwick Boseman, you mean? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Chadwick Brunson, like he was like a huge up-and-comer. He had a lot of good independent films. He got a lot of recognition for playing famous people. He did Jackie Robinson. He did Thurgood Marshall, that's the name, the lawyer. And his last performance of his career was a movie called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It was on Netflix. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. Like, it's not a very long movie. and he played a trumpet player that was in her band, and he had ridiculous material. I mean, I could not believe he didn't win. They went with Anthony Hopkins, and I mean, that's fine because he's such a great actor, but it was like he had passed away before the Oscars that year. He knew he actually was dying, Chadwick Bronson, in real life, and his character like has to yell at God a lot in the movie. Yeah. And it's the most surreal thing on the face of the earth, playing a character who has to like be angry at God for what he has done. And it's like, that's so weird to know that was the last thing he ever did.
Well, that was the year. So 2020, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, good movie. Check out the Manson doc on Netflix. It's pretty interesting.
Mikey Madison's actually one of the daughters. If you've seen that movie, she's one of the girls. The girl who just won Best Actress this year, Mikey Madison.
Right.
The girl who's
the girl that was in. Was that the girl that was in the car with Brad Pitt? Was that her?
Yes. No, that was Margot Qualley.
So, what to watch? I'll just pull that up. Full Swing. Sure. These are pretty much all on Netflix. Chaos, The Manson Murders, Surviving Black Hawk Down, Prison Break, Evil Genius. They're all on Netflix. Evil Genius, that's about the pizza bomber in Erie, PA. Crazy. But Leonardo, did he get second that year or first? Or he didn't get first. Did he get second that year for Once Upon a Time?
Hollywood?
Yeah.
I think he was more actually third.
Yeah, it might have been Anthony. No. But that year is what that was the year The Irishman was up, and Al Pacino and Joe Pesci both were in the running for
list, that list of best supporting actor. I'm just saying, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Tom Hanks, Brad Pitt, and Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah,
that's insane. That's one of the greatest names of movie history.
That's a Netflix movie. The Brutalist. That wasn't like in theaters or anything, was it? That was just like digital. That wasn't an Amazon movie.
No, that wasn't theaters.
Oh, it was? Okay.
It was.
So like The Irishman, that's a Netflix one. Good movie. But it's crazy nowadays that you get these guys who are up for Oscars and it's just a Netflix movie. You know what I mean? Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody in 2019, Christian Bale in Vice, Bradley Cooper, Stars Born, William Dafoe, Viggo Mortensen. That's okay. Maybe that's the one I was watching recently where Viggo was in it.
Okay.
Sam Elliott.
Oh.
Sam Elliott. Who is that? Sam Elliott. Yeah. Sam Elliott. 2018. Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour.
Wait, was that Rockwell?
What?
Sam Rockwell? Is that who you're thinking of? Because I don't know if Sam Elliott was up for an Oscar. I don't.
Yeah, Sam Elliott right here, actor in a supporting role, 2019, Stars Born.
Oh, okay, cool.
2018, didn't see that movie. Get Out, Daniel, that guy. I can't say his last name. 2017, I think that was Leonardo's. Yep, Leonardo's year.
Yeah, that was a good year. Yep.
No, that wasn't the year that he won.
Oh.
Casey Affleck.
Must have been the year before.
Manchester by the Sea. I think it was 2016 then when Leonardo won.
It had to be 2016.
Yep, The Revenant, and then Bryan Cranston, Matt Damon, Michael Fassbender. And then I think it was 2015 is when yeah.
Oh.
When did I remember
that was when your Birdman came out. Oh, dude, have you ever seen Birdman?
No.
Oh,
Michael
I mean, listen, that is truly a masterpiece of a movie. Alejandro, I can't say his last name, but he was the director. That movie is a freaking trip. It's so crazy. It's good writing, great acting, and it's never stops. Like it's just like a constant roller coaster of emotions because every scene they're either doing some rehearsal or it's his own inner demons in his dressing room. Like the movie is set in a theater and he is like reliving his glory days with Birdman. He made it into a big movie and they turned it into a play of all things on Broadway. And Zach Galifianakis plays his stage manager and his agent. And it's just a wild ride. I mean, you talk about throwing everything you can think of in terms of acting and range and depth. Oh my goodness. Dude, listen to this. Michael Keaton plays this guy who plays Birdman. But Birdman, in his mind, is a real person, and he's having schizophrenic issues with trying to fight his own demon inside him. And he's trying to put reality into this fantasy world where the fantasy is not real, but it's real to him, and it's in a fantasy element. Like, all these different layers. It's just crazy to even hear that, where it's like, how do you play that? And how do you come up with that? And he does it so good. Many actors have said that it's one of the greatest performances they have ever seen an actor do. And he didn't win the Oscar that year. I was so ticked.
Okay. Yeah, so it was Michael Keaton. 2014 is when McConaughey won, and I was thinking American Made. It was American Hustle, Christian Bale. Leonardo was up for Wolf of Wall Street. Dallas Buyers Club. Actor and supporting actor both won for that. This guy, that Barkhad Abdi, Captain Phillips, he got like $60,000 for that movie. That's it. Jonah Hill was up for Wolf of Wall Street, supporting actor. All right, 2013. Right? Yeah, 2013. Daniel Day-Lewis, Lincoln. Interesting.
Yes.
Man, you talk about, if you've never seen There Will Be Blood, like...
Oh, dude, that is one of my favorite performances by Daniel Day-Lewis. Oh, my goodness. Every time someone brings that up, it's like, yeah, There Will Be Blood is easily his best performance I've ever seen.
Dude, how wasn't Jamie Foxx up for actor in that year? Because that's when Django Unchained was on the freaking ballot. Whew. Great movie.
Listen, I think he was surrounded by too much other things. Like Christoph Waltz's performance as his deputy. Oh my god, dude!
He should have been the lead actor in that movie, you would think, but I guess not.
You would think.
Denzel Washington, Flight, not a bad movie. Okay. When did Moneyball was up? When did Jamie Foxx win for Ray?
2004.
2004.
That might be the 2005 Oscars.
Christian Bale, the fighter. Okay.
Oh.
2005, Jamie Foxx, you said?
Yeah, I tried the 2005. If it's not then, it's
Jamie
the
Foxx,
other.
Ray. Yep.
Yep.
Clint Eastwood was in there. $1 Million Baby. Oh my god. Don't watch that movie.
It's good.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's just so sad.
Yes.
And then Denzel was in 2002.
Yes.
For Training Day, man.
Yes.
And there were some good movies up that year. Ali, Beautiful Mind. Whew. Ethan Hawke,
you talk about
was second for Training Day, supporting role.
Again, Will Smith won for King Richard, but if you look at both Ali and The Pursuit of Happiness, oh my goodness, those two movies he was nominated for were ridiculously a good dramas. Like, I just don't get why they have to do that for actors, though. It's like, they were in such good movies, and then the movies they won for, it's like, they were good movies, but they weren't as good as the other ones. Like,
Benicio
you can
del
say what you
Toro.
want to.
Castaway was in 2001.
Yep.
What were you saying?
No, I'm just saying, like, you think of, like, between The Revenant, now, again, I get it. all of the elements and you had to deal with like the wilderness and like the frontier, everything. I get that. But you're talking about the Wolf of Wall Street, where that man was never not on camera. He was constantly doing something at all time, giving 5-7 minute monologues every other minute. It was just like, how could that man not get that prize that year? I just was like, what else could he have done? He threw everything at you.
Will Smith, Pursuit of Happiness, or 7 Pounds could have gotten an Oscar. Ali, and then like Leonardo, man, Titanic, Wolf of Wall Street, Shutter Island. He never got an Oscar for those. Like, my God.
Well, that was a good story.
Brockovich.
I mean, I'm not saying it was acting, but it was a good story.
Shutter Island, yeah. Mark Ruffalo, did he get Best Supporting Actor that year?
He should have, but I don't think they got nominated for that.
So, so Shutter Island, that must have been around, what, 2009, 2010?
2010, so look at the 2011. I don't think it got a lot of love at the Oscars that year. I don't know if it got anything, to be honest.
Inglourious Bastards, that's another one. Christoph Waltz.
Oh my God, dude, the Jew Hunter. I mean, man, that might be one of my favorite performances ever. Like, it is just.
Jeremy Renner, The Hurt Locker, that was a good one. 2000. No, Shutter Island was 2007, so that would have been 2008.
Are you, dude? I would put money down that Shutter Island was 2010.
Okay. Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood. And then the supporting actor, he wasn't even up for that. No Country for Old Men, Javier Bardem, Best Psychopath Actor ever.
Yep.
They did a study. He was the most convincing psychopath. And bro, you got Christian Bale in there too. Like, you got some good psychopaths out there. Javier Bardem was the best one. What are we looking for right now? We're looking for Shutter Island. It must have been 2009.
It has to be 2011. I promise you. I think Shutter Island was 2010.
All right. Oh, it wasn't in 2011. What the hell? Dark Knight. That's a good one. Heath Ledger won that. He died before that. Dude, freaking Tropic Thunder was up. That's hilarious. All right. So I'll just look it up. Shutter
I am positive 2010.
2010. All right, so that would have been 2011. But I didn't see it on there.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that any love from the Oscars that year.
It wasn't up then. So Jeremy Renner, The Town, Christian Bale, The Fighter.
That was another great movie that came out, I think, 2005. It's called The Aviator. If you talk about Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese's team, that was a great movie. If you've never seen that, I would try to find that. It's a good movie to watch.
True Grit, John Wayne, 127 Hours. All right, you said 2006?
Yes, look for the 2006 Oscars. That Aviator came out in 2005.
Bro, how the heck wasn't Shutter Island? That's insane to me. All right. 2006, Brokeback Mountain, Walk the Line, Cinderella Man. Wow. Brokeback Mountain. What did you just say? What movie are you talking about?
The Aviator? Maybe it's 2005. Maybe it's tried 2005. Maybe it is 2004. Maybe, yeah, so if it was 2004, maybe 2005. So yeah, I could have sworn it came out in 2005, but I think maybe it's 2004.
So it'd be 2005. Mystic River, good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mystic River, man, that. Whew.
Yeah, they talk about a depressing movie.
All right, so go to 2006, right?
For The Aviator, it should have been 2005.
Okay, 2005. Mystic River that's an insane movie. The guy that he threw into the Mystic River, what was his name?
Dude, I think I watched that movie when it came out, and that's been like 20 years. So I I don't remember much of it. That's Tim Robbins and Sean Penn, and who else is in that movie? It's been forever.
The Aviator was 2005. Million Dollar Baby, Morgan Freeman. Now, when do these Oscar movies come out? They always come out late, like in the summer into the fall, right? That's when the good movies come out.
Right. So movies, I think that to be eligible by May of the year before the Oscars in March. So it's like between May of the year before and between, I think, now, that's a good tricky question. I think maybe it's actually December. It's like between May and December of the year before, that's when the awards start coming out.
I knew someone that was really into the Oscars, and they said that the bad movies come out in like January, February. That's when you know, like, there's bad movies because they're not going to be in the Oscars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
2001, The Gladiator, Russell Crowe. 2000, American Beauty.
American Beauty. I say that has to be American Beauty's year.
When was Philadelphia? When was that? 99?
92.
92?
Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington. Yeah, 92.
Saving Private Ryan didn't win. Goodness gracious, man.
Shakespeare in Love won that year. I remember that. The controversial.
What was it?
Was it Shakespeare in Love that won Best Picture that year?
Oh, Best Picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shakespeare in Love, yeah.
Over Saving Private Ryan. Never going to forget that.
92, so 93 would have been Philadelphia?
Yep. And then 94 was when he won for Forrest Gump. Tom Hanks is the only person to win back-to-back Best Actor in the year after he won.
There's the horse head. All right, so it must have been 94, I think, is when he won for Philadelphia. Yeah. Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, then 95. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, then it was 93. Dang. I'm always just a year off.
List. All right, so and then 95 you won for Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Shawshank Redemption, too. Good Lord. Pulp Fiction. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that was a heck of a year.
95 was one of the best years for movies ever.
Yeah.
It was like Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption,
Toy Story.
Mask. What? Toy Story?
Toy Story came out that year.
Yeah, that was one of the best years ever for films.
Mm-hmm.
Toy Story, Batman Forever, Apollo 13, Pocahontas, Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, GoldenEye, Jumanji. Oh, so it would have been, was it 95 or 94 where they came out with like all these great movies? Die Hard. Shawshank Redemption, that came out, what, 94 then?
94.
All right, so it must have been 1994 when all these freaking great movies came out. Lion King, Forrest Gump, yep, True Lies, The Mask, Speed, Flintstones, Dumb and Dumber.
Dude, I remember being like a little guy and watching True Lies over and over and over again. I just thought that was like the coolest action film ever, and I still think that.
Shawshank Redemption, where is that on here? I don't see it.
Maybe 93 then. It had to have been 90. I could have sworn it was 94, but maybe it was 93.
I think it was. So Shawshank Redemption. It was the year that like Shawshank Redemption came out, that all these insane movies came out, dude. It was like, all right, so 94, yeah, it would have been 94. But all right, domestic.
Yeah.
Box office, Mojo. Lion King, Forrest Gump, True Lies, Santa Claus, Flintstones, Schindler's List, Pulp Fiction, Naked Gun. I don't know if OJ was in that or not. Because that was, well, he would have made it in 93, so it probably was.
Yeah.
Where's Shawshank Redemption? But I just saw this thing on Instagram the other day. It was like lists of all these great movies that came out this one year. And they were all like just great movies.
I just remember, what was it, 2019? There was like the top 10 movies. I think 8 of them were Disney movies, and it was because they were either the live action movies or a Marvel. And it was like they grossed like $12 billion between all their movies. It was like, that is insane. For 1 year, for your one company to make that much money.
Little Giants came out that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shawshank Redemption was in there, and then Sister Act, Beethoven, Major League 2, Beverly Hills Cop, Angels in the Outfield, The Crow, Little Rascals, Dumb and Dumber, man. Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
That's a lot of good movies.
That's
Philadelphia.
a good movie.
My God. Forrest Gump, Lion King. So, Forrest Gump, that was what year?
94.
And so Philadelphia and Forrest Gump were in the same year.
No, they had to have been the year after. Philadelphia had to be 93, and Forrest Gump was 94.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate film, man. What they do.
Again,
Lion King, that made gross 295 million. Total gross 312 million. Wow. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I mean, just you're talking about, like, ever since the pandemic hit, is like I didn't watch anything with the Oscars since 2019. I mean, a couple of movies I caught. I mean, I was very much into Netflix putting out like all these Oscar-nominated movies with Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, The Trial of the Chicago 7, which I think is such an underappreciated movie. I don't know, no one talks about that. It's such a good movie. But like since like 2023 and 24, like ever since all the stuff was lifted and you could make great movies again, I just feel like everything's been awesome. Like I just feel like last year I know Oppenheimer was going to win, but every movie was like a great film. They could have won Best Picture any other year, but because Oppenheimer was in it, everybody knew that was going to happen. And this year again, you didn't know what was going to happen, but I always feel like the narrative was the thing you go with, but that wasn't what happened with Demi Moore. I just felt like, man, it should have happened for her, but it is what it is. And, you know, again, watching these movies, like giving you these kind of, it expands your mind in the sense, like, you don't know what's out there until you see the story. And that's why I kind of like doing the Oscars. Like, it gives you, like, and not stepping out of your comfort zone, but it's just like, that's the thing. It's like, you know what you want to watch, but these movies are nominated. It's like, what is it that makes them so fascinating? And it's like, I thought that everything I saw, like Emilia Perez was an interesting film. I thought the ending was really good to that movie. Wicked, again, I'm a theater guy. Of course, anything you put on with Broadway, I'm going to be on it. And it didn't disappoint at all. I mean, it was just the best version I think you could have made for the film. And Cynthia Erivo singing Defying Gravity at the end of that movie. I mean, our audience, that my friend and I went and saw that in theaters. Again, there are certain films that you need to see in theaters, and I'm so happy I went and saw Wicked in theaters. And when you hear like that final moment, like I feel like the entire audience wanted to get on their feet and cheer. And it's like, that's so funny that an audience wanted to clap for a screen that was not going to hear your clapping. what we wanted to because it was just that good. Like, It's the magic. That's just why we all watch it. And I was very impressed with what I saw this year. Did I think what won should have won? No, but it was definitely in my top 5. I definitely appreciated that movie, but I would not have chosen it. So sometimes it's like they get it right, and sometimes you're just like, nah, I think they could have went with the other one.
Yeah. Well, I just pulled up the highest grossing movies. Avatar was number 1, 2 billion, almost 3 billion. I know Jurassic World, they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
1.6, 1.7 billion. Titanic, 0.3 billion. But yeah. Yeah, so well, Jared talked about the Steelers, talked about the Oscars. Not really related, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the Oscars always intrigues me a little bit. Just because, man. And I don't know how they vote for it and all that stuff, but I thought when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, that was their way of like trying to make the Oscars relevant again, because their viewership has really gone down, the Oscars. And there's a bit of conspiracy there, but that was crazy because everyone at first thought he was joking, and then he wasn't. Like, that was insane, bro. It was insane.
I mean, I don't know if Will really has put out anything since. Like, that's the thing. Like, you have not really heard his name in quite some time. Like, in terms of what...
Be, as good of an actor as he is, he should be blacklisted, when you do something like that. I mean, that's bad.
Yeah.
Because that was just crazy that happened.
Yeah.
And I think just about everyone else was like, well, that's not a very good relationship.
No. I just know that in the end, everyone's always going to talk about, when you look at the Oscars, who, puts more, again, it's just that money machine. It's just like, who has more to put towards their Oscar. It's like, do you buy it? Like, is it worth it? Like, do you actually earn it? Like, I feel like that's what puts a lot of people off, where it's like, it is political. It does have all of the angles that it wants to take. But in the end, it's just like, what I thought was going to win, I thought was the best story. It won Best Adapted Screenplay, Conclave, but that was really its only big win. And everything else was just, secondary. Like, they were always considered, but they had all the nominations, but didn't take home anything big. It's just, in the end, that's just what we always talk about. I just feel like what wins, like, again, I think the biggest upset in the history of the thing, everybody was talking about Brokeback Mountain was supposed to win 2005's Oscar, and then they chose Crash. Like, everyone, I think, in that room was like, what? We were supposed to nominate the movie or win for two gay cowboys and having that romance. I mean, that was supposed to be it. And they didn't want to pull the trigger on that, no pun intended, and then they went with Crash, and it burned. It just...
What was that? What was that movie where the dude plays the cameraman? Jake Gyllenhaal plays the cameraman.
Oh, Nightcrawler.
Yeah. Was that Oscar nominated or no?
I think it was. I think it did get a couple things. I don't know if it got all the like 5 or 6. I think it just got like 2 or 3. I think it got small thing. I think it got Best Supporting Actor, I think, for James Brooks. No, I don't think. I think it got nominations, but again, I don't think it won.
Yeah.
The Hurt Locker is the only movie that... Yep.
Yeah, that was Jeremy Renner. That was an insane movie. Yeah. American Sniper, I remember when that was up.
Yep.
That was an insane movie, dude.
Who was that?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper, that's it. I was like, darn, I don't want to say Chris Evans, but it wasn't them.
He was really built in that movie. And then, I think he was in like Silver Linings Playbook, and then he was in Burnt, I think, and then he was in American Sniper, and then the next movie Bradley Cooper was in, he wasn't a big guy. He was like smaller, so like Christian Bale for The Machinist, that's crazy.
Insane.
And then he was in Vice, he was Dick Cheney. He's been The Machinist, Dick
Batman.
Cheney, Christian Bale, Batman. Like, it's crazy, like, that they fluctuate weight like that. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, that is.
But all right, Jared.
Yep.
We'll wait to see what happens this week, and next week probably have a pretty good episode because of what might happen. So,
yes.
Jared, are you gonna do anything on Facebook or for the podcast show?
You mean for this or the Pirates?
Well, yeah, the Pirates. Yep.
I want to try and get something on Facebook, but again, we need to figure out like how to get the video for me. Like, You give it to me, I put it on here, or you put it on. However it works. Like, I send it to you. I don't know how this whole works with StreamYard yet. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yep.
All right, guys. See you next week. Hopefully, you have some good news. So.
Yes, please give us good news.
See you guys.
See ya.